Hi everyone, I'm Candace, and you can find me at eclecticcoach.com, and I do two types of coaching. I do course completion coaching, so I will take you through any course that you've already signed up for online, and I will help you not only complete the course but apply what you learn in that course in a meaningful way and help you stay accountable and on track. And I also do intuitive transformational coaching. And I'm kind of just trying to open up a little bit about my psychic experiences. I believe in past lives. I'm going to make a video about why, because I was not into that until I had a spontaneous regression into a past life. And no, I was not like royalty or rich or any crazy fun thing. It was actually really, really uncomfortable. Um, uh, but and because of my um, intuitive experiences and some of my past life experiences, being burned as a witch and hung and buried alive, things like that as a heretic, I've developed a sort of like irrational fear that I have taken into this experience where I'm like afraid to be seen, afraid to share what I know, and like it doesn't make any sense, especially not in today's world and with all the information that's out there. That's not even a thing anymore. So I just need to get over that, and that's what I'm doing here. And so, what I want to talk about is psychic protection and my first experience with this. So, I come from a line of intuitive women on my mother's side. My mom is very intuitive, my aunt's very intuitive, all very creative women. My grandmother, she didn't like to be called grandma. She only liked to be called honey. Um, that's a different video, but she's a funny lady. But she was a cop, and she lived a really tough life. And so she's seen a lot of things, had a lot of trauma in her life, and so she would always say, trust your gut, and I feel really blessed for that, for the women in my life. And that's very prominent in my astrology chart, um, this feminine influence in my family. And so I feel really grateful for that. And so that was a big thing in my family, to trust your gut, listen to your instincts, and I was very supported in that. And one of the things that my mom told me when I was little was this, what to do basically when you feel like a negative presence around you or something has happened, because she had a couple experiences with sleep paralysis and different energies and things like that. And she had this babysitter who told them, anytime you feel like a bad energy, a bad experience like that, say the Lord's Prayer. You know what? Why don't we just say it here anyway? Because I have this sense that when you open up your intuitive channel, it's like turning on a light in a dark room. And other energies that want to be seen or heard or whatever gravitate to you because you can see them. And so lots of things. It can be, you can feel thought forms, or just nebulous clouds of energy, or actual entities, or angels, or lots of things. So let's say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So my first experience with psychic protection kind of happened in a not so fun way, but it was a very powerful experience. So I just made another video about my first psychic experience, which happened at about 7. Um, and I had this dream. So they kind of started off as dreams, um, that I was in a friend's apartment. So we lived in apartments, and I had this friend, and I had a dream that I was in her apartment, and everything was really dark. And then there was this like a little baby elephant in the corner, and I go to pet the baby elephant, and then all of a sudden there's this man, and he's got me by the throat, and he's saying, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you." And in my dream, I remembered what my mom had taught me very, very recently before that. And I just start saying the Lord's Prayer over and over. And it didn't take long, and then suddenly I woke up. And I've used this so many times. So, I mean, I guess I understand that a lot of people have experienced pain and trauma around organized religion. So if that prayer doesn't do it for you, that's okay. You know, call in the white light, ask for only a loving presence. You can insist that whatever goes away. But I'm just sharing my experience that when I have used this, and I've had some intense experiences, it goes away. It goes away. So I had another experience. This was very uncomfortable. I was staying with a family member, and there was just a lot of chaos and craziness going on in the house. Lots of sadness. Everybody was in conflict. Everything was just not good. And I had been trying to do these different dreams and these different intuitive exercises to get some clarity, because I was in the middle of a crazy move. That's a whole nother story. I've lived a very precarious lifestyle for a couple of years there, for sure. I like to test my Sagittarius luck. I'm a Scorpio, but I've got a lot of Sagittarius and Pisces. And there was this, so I was trying to do these different meditations. And what I will say is that when you start opening up your clairs, which are clairaudience, which is where you hear, clairsentience is where you feel, clairvoyance is where you see, claircognizance is where you know, clairgumption is where you smell. Like, when you start doing creative exercises or intuitive exercises, you will open up your psychic ability, and sometimes you see great things, and sometimes you see not great things. It's like having sight. Like, I could go walk down the street and I could see a beautiful flower, and I could also see a piece of trash laying on the ground. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on. And just like in our physical environment, where we are vibrating is what we tend to notice more of. But this happens much faster on like the subtle level, on an intuitive level. So anyway, back to my story. I was doing these exercises one night, and nothing much that was interesting happened. And then come around 7:30, 8 the next morning, I'm sleeping in their bedroom because they no longer want to sleep in that room. They just don't like it in there anymore. So I'm sleeping there because I'm the guest and I'm staying there. And it's like 7:30, 8 in the morning. They're getting ready to go to work. And so it's not like it's like 2 or 3 and I'm freaking myself out. It's just a regular time, and I'm in that halfway state between sleep and waking, and I see a little old lady slip through the door, and and there was a whole bunch of like old, like antique stuff like all around the room, all around the bed, and it comes and it sits down. Like, I could hear my family member outside in the common area of the house, but this little creepy old woman looking thing comes and sits down, and then it turns to me and it like looks at me. And I knew right then it was trying to scare me, because that's what lower vibrational energies or entities do. They try to freak you out or rouse anger or negativity, and then they feed on it, and then they grow in strength. So you got to neutralize that energy. And so it like turned at me and looked at me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. And so I said the Lord's Prayer over and over, and then it got really intense. And then all of a sudden, the whole room just started to shake with different colors. And then kind of like have you ever seen like in a movie where they're like a hologram or something, and they start glitching, like all over their body, start glitching everywhere. And I looked at it and I'm like, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Like, I just kept saying it, and the whole room is like flashing color. And it's like turning, and then I like woke up and I'm like drenched in sweat. And I tell the people who live there about it, and nobody wants to hear that. Like, nobody, like, oh, you have a bad energy in your house. Like, then people get hurt, feel hurt, and they feel like, and that's something I like to say too. We watch a lot of stuff on TV, like in movies, like there's energies that are moving through various mediums. And it's like dirt. If you go running around in the mud and you track it through your house, you're not a bad person. You just picked up some unpleasant energy. And so it's not about feeling guilty or feeling bad or any kind of thing like that. It's about just being aware that there's different energies, and they sometimes try to jack with you, and so you have to protect yourself. Call in a white light, call in Archangel Michael. Love working with Archangel Michael, especially when I'm feeling a lot of fear and anxiety. And I just want to say, like, people project like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say, or what, or like, you don't know about me and my situation or where I'm at. And it's like, no, there's a loving presence. So you can trust that there are beings of light and love that are around you all the time that you can call on to protect you. And they really, really do show up and protect you. These loving beings have been depicted in various spiritual and religious traditions, and they are non-denominational, and they're very, very, very real. And I really just want to emphasize the fact that if something like this happens to you, don't make a big, scary, weird deal out of it. It's just time to sweep. It's time to clean the house. It's time to clear out that energy. It's time to do like some sort of ritual to move the energy out. It's not about feeling bad or scared or weird or feeding it in any sort of way. And so that's what I just wanted to talk about, is spiritual protection, and that it's always available to you. The Lord's Prayer is what I personally do. I also like to go through and Epsom salt baths. Really super, super important. Super, super important. It's like spiritual hygiene, because if you have a very porous auric field, if you're very sensitive to subtle energy, it's something that you have to do and everybody can benefit from it. It's just that not everybody is as immediately and as obviously affected by it as very sensitive people are. So if you are, just know that about yourself, honor it, and deal with it in a healthy way. The Lord's Prayer, light candles, set intention, envision the white light, be around positive, affirming people, and if something happens, then don't make the big deal out of it. Just realize that it's okay and you're gonna be fine and clear it out. Because at the end of the day, you are a child of the universe. You're doing the best you can with what you have. You are loved. You are known. You have your own spirit team that's around you to guide you and protect you all the time. And only love is real. And the rest is just, a part of this simulation. And people will say, well, how do you know that evil isn't real? And they'll tell you some very disturbing story. And it's like, yeah, it's real in this plane of existence, but it doesn't exist as an ultimate reality. It's a part of the illusory experience that we're having. And only love is real, meaning that everything that is not of love, because in the Course in Miracles, which I love that book, everything either stems from fear or love. And fear is just an illusion. And so find comfort in that and just in that knowing. And I hope that some of this was helpful, and tell me about your experiences and what you do to psychically protect yourself. Do you imagine colors around you? Do you imagine a shield around you? Some people I've heard even use an image of a bunch of reflective mirrors. So if you feel like there are people in your environment that are projecting a bunch of stuff onto you, imagine a mosaic or a mirror all around your body. And so those projections go back to where they came from. And yeah, so I hope that's helpful, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And you can visit me at eclecticcoach.com, and I do, like I said, intuitive transformational coaching once a week, and I also do course completion coaching the rest of the time. So I'm so excited to work with you in your journey. All right, talk to you soon.